Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the presentation and posting of colors. Remain standing for the presentation and posting of colors. I now invite Sergeant Brown to the podium to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, halt! Sir, request permission to post colors.
Permission granted.
Honor guard, mark time, halt! Left, right, please! Mark time, halt! Honor guard, halt! Post colors.
Father Jude, please come to the podium for the invocation.
Let us bow our heads in reverence to God. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gifts of life and good health, which has enabled us to be here today for this former workforce recognition ceremony. Father, we thank you for your guidance and support to the Commissioner Joe Spano and his team for deciding to recognize and reward the DOC civilian employees for their selfless service to the department during the coronavirus pandemic. This is partly made possible by good leadership. The civilian employees couldn't have done very well without clearly defined rules and regulations established by the leaders. Father, we therefore thank you immensely for guiding the Commissioner and his team in proactively introducing some measures and modus operandi to prevent the spread of the virus in the facility. For example, the early closure of the jail, making it inaccessible for visitors. Father, we thank you for your guidance to our leaders. God our Father, you protected us from this virus during the course of our duties. And as the virus is still around, we are earnestly asking for your continuous protection. We commend this event to you, and we ask you to reward all of us for the good works we do. St. Paul, while encouraging workers in his first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 58, says, "Whatever work you do it with your whole heart, and for the Lord will reward you." Today, the Lord is rewarding and encouraging the civilian employees through the Commissioner and his team. And like Christ in Matthew chapter 25, verse 23, the Commissioner is saying, "Well done, good and faithful servants, for managing the responsibilities entrusted to you very well. Therefore, expect a reward." Father in heaven, may the certificates of merit we shall receive today bring in our hearts a renewed spirit of service in this department. May it boost our morale in building the desired team spirit and also influence us to become better and work harder. Father in heaven, the coronavirus claimed many lives. Grant them eternal rest in your heavenly kingdom and bring consolation to their families. All this we pray in God's name. Amen.
You can sit. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first Workforce Recognition Ceremony. A special welcome to some of our guests in attendance, beginning with County Executive George Latimer, Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins, Director of Operations John McDonald, Assistant Director of Operations Blanca Lopez, our county legislators, Dr. Dio Hewlett from the Health Department. Today, we recognize and honor the men and women in our department for their hard work and dedication during unprecedented challenging times. At the Westchester County Department of Correction, we are strongly driven by our Commissioner's commitment and passion to the department's mission statement and core values. This commitment was best demonstrated by our department's ability to successfully navigate the uncharted waters of the COVID-19 pandemic under the leadership and guidance of our executive team. It is my pleasure and honor to invite to the podium our Commissioner, Joseph Spano.
Thank you, First Deputy Commissioner Padilla. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our workforce recognition ceremony. And DC Padilla's correct. It's the first time we've ever had a ceremony of this nature. First time we've ever recognized every single level of our workforce. But based on all we've done to combat the coronavirus over the course of the past 19 months, I think now is more appropriate time than ever before. And many of you don't know this. This is something we've been planning for quite some time, and due to community COVID spikes, we've had to postpone it on 2 occasions. So the fact that we're able to gather like this today is certainly an indication that we're getting to a better place, but the virus continues to be a real threat, so we must remain diligent. So thank you for all of your cooperation today. Recognizing a workforce of this size is it's a bit challenging. And if you look at the program, it's very involved. And with that in mind, I'm going to try to limit my opening remarks and instead let the body of language that's been prepared to support every formal recognition highlight the extraordinary contributions made by every level of our workforce during the pandemic. And that language will also capture some of our challenges and some of our sacrifices. And it's a story that needs to be told. I mean, let's face it, most folks, they don't understand how complicated it is to manage a jail of this size under normal conditions, let alone through a global pandemic. A pandemic that has challenged us in ways we never envisioned. And I'll support that statement with a quick story, and I'll take you back to March of 2020, at a time when the virus was raging and there were so many unknowns and the global death rate was very high. And I remember walking through the complex to check on our staff and residents to see how they were holding up. And what I saw was fear. I saw fear in their eyes. And in my 40 years of correction experience, I had never seen anything like it before. It was real and it was frightening. But to our credit, my management team and I, we took a very aggressive approach toward the coronavirus when we first learned of it, well before we had any suspected cases. And working with internal and external partners, we developed and implemented multiple measures to help detect, prevent, and respond to any suspected cases. And everyone here knows that that proactive approach made a difference. I mean, what many of you probably don't know is that through the New York State Sheriff's Association, those measures became a model for many other New York State jails. And that's something we should all be very proud of. And it also complements our reputation as a leader in the space. I mentioned external partners, and I want to expand on that quickly, because the unwavering support we continue to get from our external partners has had a tremendous impact on overall DOC operations. And that includes the support from our County Executive, George Latimer, and his team, Ken Jenkins, Joan McDonald, Emily Saltzman, and Blanca Lopez. Collectively, they continue to provide us with resources needed to enhance staff and resident safety and to maintain vital DOC functions. George, Ken, Blanca, Joan, please stand for a special recognition. Thank you. And the same can be said for our health department. And Commissioner Charlita Amler, Dr. Amler, and her trusted colleague, Dr. Hewlett. You can only imagine that they were being tugged in so many different directions. But I will tell you, never, not once over the course of the past 19 months, did they not respond to one of our phone calls. They continue to provide critical guidance and advice when it's needed most. Dr. Hewlett, we're so glad you're able to join us today. Please stand for special recognition. And the same can be said for our county legislators. A lot of you don't know that, our county legislators, over the course of this pandemic, they required and requested and received regular operational updates. They wanted to know how staff and residents were doing, and they wanted to know what they can do to help. And that's what they've done over the course of the last 19 months. So it's really great to have legislator Colin Smith, Margaret Kunzio with us. Thank you and your colleagues. Please stand for a special recognition. And there are many other external partners who continue to support us today and help us make a difference, but I promise to keep my remarks short, so I'm going to stop there. But just know that that collaboration continues because there's still important work that needs to be done. And speaking of important, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the level of cooperation and understanding that we have received from our residents during the pandemic. And I have no doubt that the culture of civility and respect that we had in place prior to the pandemic contributed to that spirit of cooperation. But I personally know that it's more than that. And I know that because I received many letters from our residents who tell me that they appreciate all we've done to keep them safe, to keep them well informed, to keep them connected with family, and to provide access to vaccines. They continue to support us, and too are deserving of a special round of applause. I'm going to pause there and transition to our county executive. And I'm sure many of you, like me, you've had an opportunity to see some of his regular COVID updates. And if you have a good sense of all the great work he's done to keep us informed, to support all of county government, county residents, county businesses, school systems, and so much more. And at a time when strong and decisive leadership was needed most, he answered the call. Ladies and gentlemen, our amazing county executive, George Latimer.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Commissioner. And as is the case when you're in a situation where you have an attitude of gratitude, let me in turn ask Commissioner Spano, Deputy Commissioner Padilla, First Deputy Commissioner Diaz, and Deputy Commissioner Gerald to please stand up and receive from us a grateful appreciation of your hard work during all of this. Joe has mentioned the members of the executive team, and they've been introduced. And I tell you that whatever good we have done could not have been done without their talent and their skill. And I'm very much in their debt, as I am to the leadership of the department and the men and the women of this department, because it is impossible to deal with something that was unknown unless you work it through. You think it through and you make decisions as you go along. There was no book that was left to me from Edwin McCallion or Al Del Bello that I could have pulled out off the shelf and look at it and say, here's what we have to do, 1, 2, 3, and 4 to deal with the pandemic. And every one of us in the society had to deal with the unknown in your own personal lives, in whatever your spouse or your significant partners may do for a living. It threw all of us for a loop. It's still there and still throwing us for a loop, but we've had to be flexible and adapt and adjust. But it is only with the partnership from the senior team, and I want to add Catherine Chaffee to that list, who's with us here today, our Director of Communications. Catherine, please. Thank you. And to reinforce the role that the Board of Legislators have played. You have heard in years past, county executives and boards of legislators don't always see eye to eye. You don't have to see eye to eye to have mutual respect. Their role in the legislature dealing with these issues, again, is deeply appreciated. I want to say that publicly so that people know that that is the case. I want to tell a story that I've told before, and I don't know if any of you have heard it. Certainly my friends in the administration have. But it was so important to me at the time that it happened, that it stays with me today, and it happened approximately 45 years ago when I was a 12-year-old boy. In my parents' home on South 14th Avenue in Mount Vernon, I did my homework on the kitchen table. It's a very small house, very tiny house. And on the kitchen table, it was, you would root through. My mother, father, and my younger sister would be coming and going as I studied. And in this particular cycle, I had a class in algebra, which I was not easily facile with. And the teacher of that day drilled us with lots of tests. I don't know how many of you had algebra, loved algebra. It was tough for me. If it was tough for you, you can relate to what I'm saying. And what she decided to do is every Friday we were going to have a test, every single Friday. And there was 2 grades on the test, 100% or 0. And if you got a 0, you took the test again the following Friday. Now, if any of you go back and channel where you were when you were in, this was junior high school, now called middle school, Thursday night studying for a Friday test makes you feel like, wait a minute, the weekend is almost here. The last thing I want to do on a Thursday night is to have to study hard. I want to kind of skate through Friday and the weekend and so forth. But not Mrs. Healy at Washington Junior High School, as it was called in those days in Mount Vernon. And so, like any good 12-year-old, I studied for the test with my head in my hands, moping and complaining in equal parts to actually studying what I had to do. And so my father came in the room and he saw his 12-year-old son moping. And my father, rest his soul, was a man. He worked with his hands all of his life, had to drop out of school during the Depression to help fund the family, went away overseas during World War II, and came back and had been been through tough life by the time his son and daughter came along. And he was not one of these, put my arms around you, son, I love you, and you're my best friend. Not that kind of a dad. He was a great father, but he was a tough father. And he looked at his son moping, and he looked at me in a few words. He said, "What are you moping about?" And I said, "Well, I got a test every Friday. I got to take a test, And he looked at me, and he leaned over to me. I can still see his face about 6 inches from me. And I will tell you, I love the man. I was scared of the man. Even in my 30s, I was scared of the man because I knew he had a physicality. And he leaned over and he pounded his head on his hand on the table. And he said, "Tested every week." He said, "Boy, when you're a man, you're going to be tested every day. Study that." Well, suffice to say, I got 100 that week and didn't have to study tested. But I was not going home to Stan to tell him that I had to take this test to get another week. But I remember that moment. And of course, at that moment, you're in school and you don't really get it. Maybe you never really get it in life. Maybe it takes your whole life to, quote unquote, get it. But we all are tested every day. And the men and women of this department are uniquely tested every day under normal situations. Take away COVID, it's a test every day. You deal in a world where your physicality is essential for you to do your job. It is a world where your mental acuity and your ability to sort of see the human element is at hand every single day. And you have to perform the jobs you have, whatever your titles are, whatever your responsibilities are, you have to evidence that, and you have to evidence it regularly. Keep in mind, most people in Westchester County never really deal with Westchester County government, if you think about it. Our largest department is the Department of Social Services. There are many people in this county who never even think about the Department of Social Services because they don't need it, or anybody that they know doesn't need it. And that by their ability and good fortune, they live in comfortable and wealthy surroundings. Second biggest department is yours. And they have not found the reason to come to the correctional facility either to be incarcerated or to be with somebody that has been incarcerated. They don't realize this department is as critical as it is, and they don't realize the probation department, which is tied by function to this one as well. So they may see our parks, they may see environmental facilities on the household cleanup day, but their understanding of what you do behind these walls is minimal. And many of us in public office who have not had a career in law enforcement in any of the areas of law enforcement can really understand what you go through. And now let's overlay a pandemic where we ourselves don't know. We're told we have to socially distance. My career before I went into public office was in the sales and marketing field. Social distancing was the exact opposite of what a salesman does. You get up close and personal to make the sale. And then if you have a life in public office, which is a nice way of saying you're a politician for a living, you are up close and personal in that regard as well. You're meeting people, you're talking to people, you're relating to them on a constant basis. And now we're told you have to socially distance, 6 feet apart. We're told that we have to wear masks. And of course, like most Americans, I'm not accustomed to wearing a mask. Prior to this pandemic, I never wore a mask for any reason. And my natural reaction is, do I have to wear the mask? And if you're even paying it attention, the commissioner and I didn't have one on, and we looked at each other, oh, we're going to put a mask on. And if the commissioner and the county executive make the same mistake that everybody else does, it tells you that it is an adjustment for our society to do it. But I don't argue about it because if I have this disease, I don't want to give it to you. You don't deserve to get it from me. That's why I put the mask on. I'm making a statement. Just want to make sure you don't get what I may have. And the reverse as well is true. But you've had to deal with that. You have to deal with sanitizing your hands. When I was a little boy, I don't think I ever sanitized my hands until my mother screamed at me to do it. You know, you're just in stuff and you don't think twice about what's on your hands. In fact, it's better you didn't know. And now you got the hand thing going on and, you know, and then somebody says, well, that's a peach smelling fragrance. This smells like pomegranates. That's all new to me, man. I'm lucky I know that this Irish Spring soap smells like something different than regular soap. So we've had to go through societal changes as individuals. But then I contemplate, as we all did, what is it like to be a member of the public, a member of the health department and go through a pandemic? What is it like to be in the county police, public safety department, and be in this? What is it like in DSS, where you have to have people working remotely, but the needs of qualifying people require them to be up close and personal? You know, there are some departments that we have, planning, budget, finance, law, that lend themselves to remote working. You can work as a planner at home on your computer and do productive things. You can't run a correctional institution from home. You got to be there in person. And you're dealing with people who are incarcerated, and they're incarcerated for a reason. And our hope, through all of the programs that we have, that we will get as many of those people who are incarcerated today, when they leave this institution, on a different path in life so they never have to come back in the door. But while the judicial system has worked its process and determined that a person needs to be separated from society because of their behavior for some length of time, we're obliged to accommodate that in this facility. And those of you who've created a career in the corrections field and are trained to handle this now have COVID overlay to that. Today is about exceptional service. People who want above and beyond, I did my job. Folks outside of government, I spent time in corporate life, they don't necessarily understand the motivation of people that work in a governmental context. They believe that the people in government don't have the same ambition as the people in the private sector, because in the private sector you can be compensated, you can be given additional money for achievement if you're a salesperson, as I once was. Or that you have promotions and transfers. I lived in Atlanta, then I moved to San Francisco, and I had a better gig. And then I moved up in the corporate office, and they look at people in government, well, you know, maybe not the same. They have no idea of what it takes to be a correction officer. They have no idea of the pressures, the frustrations, and you still go home to a normal life like the rest of us. You go home, the dog did his business on the floor. He didn't not do that because you're a county executive, a correction officer, or the chief financial officer of Morgan Stanley. And you have to deal with it. And you have the normal pressures of life. And yet, the people that we're recognizing today, you, through all of that, you gave this county great service. You went above and beyond. In certain circumstances, you went not just beyond what you were expected to do, but you went above and beyond what may have put you at risk. You in danger of getting this disease, or you in danger of dealing in a situation with an individual who might have had the opportunity to do violence to you. I'm not a correctional officer, but when I sit in the 9th floor of the county office building, and we talk about these things, and Commissioner Spano is your greatest asset. He comes in, he has no problem getting loud with the county executive if he thinks he needs to fight for the men and women of this department. And I've known Joe for a long time, and when he gets upset about something, there's a good reason behind it. He's fighting for you. He wants you to have the best equipment. He wants you to have resources. He wants you to have the right training, and he wants you to be, as we are today, to respect the outstanding work that's been done. And all of the rest of us who are civilians, we turn to you and say thank you. We say thank you to you. My time here is now over, and no one really knows whether I have additional time with you in this capacity or not. That's subject to what the voters decide. But I can tell you, if my tenure were to end at the end of the year, I still respect you and love what you've done. And I will always keep that memory with me now and in the future.
Now going to commence with the formal award presentations, beginning with our uniform personnel. They each will be receiving honorable service medals. I'll explain what those are, and then I'll go into the citation language. The Honorable Service Medal is awarded to uniformed personnel whose professionalism, appearance, reliability, cooperation, and teamwork have contributed to the mission of the department. During the pandemic, department uniform staff responded to extremely challenging conditions and showed their individual and collective devotion to duty and to the core mission of our agency. The early stages of the pandemic presented fast-evolving day-to-day challenges at our workplace, which required a tremendous effort and commitment from all levels of our workforce. Compounding these challenges were the virus unknowns and the alarming global death rate. Faced with unprecedented adverse and life-threatening conditions, the department's uniformed essential staff responded in dynamic fashion. As part of that response, many volunteered to work double tours in a very complicated environment. Contributing to the high rate of overtime were staff-positive COVID cases, multiple resident quarantine units, a 50% reduction of resident housing unit capacity to support social distancing, the addition of facility-wide cleaning crews, and our layered new admission protocols. Our sworn staff were also tasked with ensuring consistent and strict enforcement of numerous COVID-19 safety protocols. To their credit, at a time when it was needed most, they never deviated from their core responsibility of providing safe and compassionate care for all residents in our custody. While satisfying their employment obligations, our uniformed personnel sought to find a balance to ensure that their family responsibilities were fulfilled. That included caring for children and assisting elderly family members and others impacted by COVID-19. Sadly, it also included suffering through the loss of loved ones. Over 150 members of our workforce suffered the loss of a family member during this public health crisis, many of which were COVID-related. Those losses were made more difficult because of the inability to have traditional internment services. In response to these challenging circumstances, our personnel comforted their families, navigated through the complex grieving process. They then returned to duty and provided much-needed relief for their co-workers. The combined efforts and commitment to duty by our uniformed staff during the pandemic has directly impacted the safety of our residents, the public, and all levels of the DOC workforce. The overall response to this public health crisis by the department's correction officers, sergeants, captains, and assistant wardens continues to be honorable and deserving of special recognition. It is with great pride and appreciation that I issue the Honorable Service Medal to all uniformed staff serving in an active duty status during the period of March 7th, 2020 to October 7th, 2021. With all uniformed personnel in attendance, please stand to be recognized. Thank you and congratulations. Thank you for all the great work. Beginning next week, you will receive your honorable service medals. Thank you. The next recognition is presented to the Department Civilian County employees. They each will receive certificates of merit. The Certificate of Merit is awarded to individuals in recognition of actions which exhibit public spiritedness, bravery, diligence, outstanding achievement, or significant contributions to the operational efficiency of our department. The Westchester Department of Correction recognizes and commends all employed county civilian staff for their outstanding efforts and diligence during the coronavirus pandemic. Despite the rapidly evolving COVID-19 challenges we faced, our dedicated civilian employees remain focused on their core responsibilities, which in turn contributed to the operational efficiency of our department. Their ability to pivot from remote to hybrid to an in-person schedule at notice without interruption should be commended. They seamlessly adapted to modified work schedules and simultaneously supported on-site operational changes to enhance workspace safety. And like other members of our workforce, they too had to find a balance to ensure that their family responsibilities were fulfilled. With such a large workforce at DOC, our civilian staff may sometimes feel overlooked. Please know that we are aware of their hard work and greatly appreciate all they've done to help us safely navigate through the pandemic. We recognize that their zealous approach to maintaining work responsibilities greatly contributed to our department's impressive performance during the pandemic. Therefore, in grateful recognition for their significant contributions and enduring commitment to their professions, all Department of Correction civilian county employees serving in active duty status during the period of March 7, 2020 to October 7, 2021 are hereby awarded certificates of merit. With all county DOC civilian employees, please stand and be recognized. Thank you all for the great work. And just quickly, we did have 5 of those civilian employees did volunteer to work at the county vaccination sites. And I want to just quickly recognize their commitments. Please stand. Vivian Butner, Fran Cabell, Jennifer Chisholm, Joseph D. Dona, and Danielle Sanders. Please stand for recognition. The next round of awards will be unit citations. I'll explain what that is, and then I'll invite DC Deputy Commissioner Leandro Diaz to the podium. A unit citation is awarded to an organizational unit within the department for an outstanding achievement which has substantially contributed to the efficiency of that unit, or through their efforts has brought favorable recognition to this department. Deputy Commissioner Leandro Diaz, please come to the podium.
Good morning. So the first unit citation goes to our healthcare provider, WellPath. The staff of the department's medical provider, WellPath, are hereby commended for their tireless dedication, distinguished service, and commitment to providing vital functions and critical services to our residents during this coronavirus pandemic. Under the leadership of their Senior Health Services Administrator, Dr. Alexis Jindal, and Medical Director, Dr. Raul Ulloa, WellPath was a strategic partner with the development of coronavirus prevention, detection, and response protocols prior to any suspected COVID-19 cases at our agency. The implementation of these COVID-19 safety protocols helped mitigate the virus introduction at our agency and positioned us to properly respond to any suspected resident or staff cases. Although there were so many unknowns during the early stages of the pandemic, WellPath remained focused on their core responsibility of ensuring that our residents' medical and mental health needs were met 24/7. Once COVID-19 cases were identified at DOC, consistent with frontline healthcare workers around the country, WellPath provided hands-on treatment for dozens of our residents who contracted this deadly virus. And similar to other levels of our workforce, a portion of WellPath staff contracted the virus and required quarantine. Having proactively prepared for such a scenario by establishing a staffing contingency plan, the WellPath team continued to maintain vital medical and mental health functions without disruption. Exacerbating this challenging period for them was the tragic loss of two of their beloved part-time colleagues. With heavy hearts, they chose selflessness over self-preservation and never deviated from their core mission at DOC. 19 months into the pandemic, WellPath continues to pivot and make needed adjustments to keep pace with this evolving healthcare crisis and added COVID-19 responsibilities. One such added responsibility includes administering hundreds of COVID-19 tests to residents as part of our aggressive new admission and quarantine protocols. Additionally, they have performed hundreds of self-site mental health assessments and resident quarantine housing units to ensure that their well-being is not compromised due to the increased isolation. Also, through collaboration with county health department representatives, WellPath developed and managed a plan to offer COVID-19 vaccines to all new admissions and provide vaccine access to every resident in our custody. As credible messengers, they continue to provide education to our residents regarding COVID-19 safety, flu vaccines, and the importance of COVID-19 vaccinations. Their aggressive and unwavering efforts have been paramount to maintaining a safe and healthy environment for both staff and residents during the pandemic. As such, they are deserving of special recognition. Under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, all WellPath staff representatives serving in active status during the period of March 7, 2020 to October 7, 2021 are hereby awarded this unit citation. I now invite Dr. Jindal and Dr. Ulloa to the podium to receive this award. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Deputy Commissioner. I have always felt that it is an honor to be a part of this facility, but this has been magnified tenfold since the start of the pandemic. In thinking about how to acknowledge the tireless work of so many during just a brief moment at this podium, it came to me that the collaborative effort to take on a virus that was an invisible, unknown enemy, and along with our understandable personal fears, it is a profound testament to each single individual creating a collaborative commitment to taking on a battle against this illness, which has proven for us to be unwavering and steadfast. WellPath is thankful for the many relationships we have formed with the multiple disciplines throughout this building. An example comes to mind when Aramark worked with us to deliver individual COVID-safe meals to WellPath staff so that a semblance of a holiday celebration could be shared, albeit without a gathering and from behind our masks. Tina, Dr. Ujoa, Veronica, Dr. Norton, Peter, Amanda, and all WellPath team members, your willingness to do whatever it takes to operationalize measures designed to keep each person safe remains an inspiration. I was awed then, and I am awed now, watching you go out with your N95s into the units, putting your worries aside and somehow pushing through our personal losses in order to carry out our most sacred mission of providing optimal health care to our population in the face of any obstacle. You have proven that there is no barrier so great as to stop genuine goodwill. And lastly, but certainly never least, from the corporate level to the site, WellPath would like to gratefully recognize Deputy Commissioner Diaz for your enduring support through good and bad times, and for your clear-minded and expert guidance, which have helped to result in our successful COVID containment and prevention program. Commissioner Spano and your executive cabinet, WellPath is so very proud to be a part of this department, and we are so lucky to be a part of your team. Thank you.
Warden Johnson, if you can now come up to the stage to present the next unit citation.
Good morning, everyone. The next unit citation is awarded to Aramark, our food service and commissary provider. The staff of the Department of Food Services and Commissary Provider, Aramark, are hereby commended for their tireless dedication, distinguished services, and commitment to providing critical functions and services to our residents and to staff during the coronavirus pandemic. Under the leadership of Audwin Hudson, Donna Blackman, Sharon Watkins, Aramark Corporation is responsible for providing daily meals and weekly commissary services for hundreds of DOC residents. That complex process intensified during the early stages of the pandemic, requiring Aramark to pivot and modify their food service preparation and delivery procedures to keep pace with the fast-evolving virus challenges. Additionally, Aramark developed staffing contingency plans to support any virus-related staffing deficiencies. To their credit, such a scenario has been averted, and the delivery of the important services continue today without disruption. It should be noted that Aramark facilitated all food service responsibilities from a smaller temporary kitchen, space in the Penn Division for most of 2020, while the main jail kitchen underwent major renovations. Like other members of the DOC workforce, Aramark employees provide services in all resident housing units, including those periodically placed on COVID-19 quarantine status. Their modified responsibilities include cell-by-cell delivery and mail and commissary packages to hundreds of residents during the time when there are still many viruses unknown and community spread was high. Also, during the early stages of the pandemic, due to closures and unsafe conditions, off-site community food service options for staff were very limited. As a result, our normal on-site food service dining halls, which are also managed by Aramark, became vitally important. Recognizing this, Commissioner Spano requested and received permission from County Executive George Latimer to provide entrees free of charge to DOC workforce. Needless to say, dining room activity significantly increased, requiring Aramark to again pivot and make appropriate operational adjustments. Historically, only 2 active tours at DOC have enjoyed full-service dining hall amenities, which created an inequity that Commissioner Spano sought to change. Working closely with DPW and Aramark, dining hall modifications were initiated and a plan was developed to provide breakfast entrees and other hot and cold food options for DOC of overnight workforce. Now, for the first time in the 52-year history of our department, employees on the overnight tour have access to full-service on-site food options. Aramark was also tasked with accommodating our request to provide residents with free weekly commissary care packages over and above the traditional resident commissary ordering process. Although this added responsibility put a strain on Aramark's commissary staff, they found a way to make it happen without disrupting their normal operations. 19 months into the pandemic, Aramark continues to provide exceptional service for our residents and staff while managing the evolving COVID-19 safety protocols. As such, they are deserving of a special recognition. Under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, all Aramark staff representatives serving in active status during the period of March 7, 2020 to October 7, 2021 are hereby awarded this citation. Sharon Watkins and Donna Blackman, please join me at the podium to receive this award.
Good morning. I didn't prepare a speech, but what I will say is that Aramark will always be committed to providing exceptional services to the Westchester County DOC. I want to thank everybody for their support, Commissioner Spano, Warden Johnson, Vollmer, all of you that provided us with the support we needed to provide services. Thank you.
This has been my home for the last, sorry. For almost 30 years now, and you guys are like family. I grew up here. I usually don't cry. I'm the tough person. But I'm crying today because I'm going to miss you guys. I love you guys. You know, if I have any issues, I pick up the phone, I go upstairs, and I said, my famous line is, help me, help you. We got to get the chow out. We got to get commissary out. We run back and forth because my main concern is to make sure that our residents are well and we all go home with no incidents. So thank you, Commissioner. I'm going to miss you. I won't annoy you as much. But thanks, you guys. Love each and every one of you.
I now invite Assistant Warden Carl Vollmer to the podium.
Good morning. Next unit citation is for the Department Central Booking Unit. Members of the Department Central Booking Unit are hereby commended for their tireless dedication, distinguished service, and commitment to providing vital functions and services during the coronavirus pandemic. After learning of the coronavirus threat to our region, our agency aggressively commenced with the development and implementation of the COVID-19 prevention, detection, and response protocols. At that time, the Department Central Booking Unit was averaging 75 to 80 new admissions per week, so it was a critical focal point of our new safety measures. Some immediate changes within the booking unit included temperature checks, a COVID-19 questionnaire, and mask wearing for all new admissions prior to being examined by a WellPath medical professional. Additionally, to support social distancing guidelines and to mitigate the virus spread, all new admission residents were strategically staged in our many bullpen holding cells and monitored closely by staff. Once a resident completed the admissions process, they were safely escorted to one of DOC's new admissions quarantine units. In addition to safely managing new admissions, booking unit staff had to manage in-person resident court appearances requests for local, county, and federal detainee court cases. Here again, all DOC residents were screened and received temperature checks before being turned over to any transporting authority. Additionally, DOC booking supervisors provided every Westchester County law enforcement agency and court jurisdiction with our new transportation safety protocols, which prohibited commingling of our outgoing court residents with any community court cases and strictly monitored for compliance. Although DOC transitioned to a virtual court model during the height of the pandemic, the courts relied heavily on our booking personnel to manage an excessive amount of related court case documentation. In response, booking unit staff pivoted and were very instrumental in aiding the various court systems by scheduling virtual hearings, sharing court documents with residents, and executing the submission of commitment orders and other legal documents. As such, they are deserving of special recognition. Under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, the Department of Correction Central Booking Unit staff representatives serving during the period of March 7th, 2020 through October 7th, 2021 are hereby awarded this unit citation. I'd like now to invite Captain Lopez of the booking unit to the stage. Thanks, sir. Here. That's nice. I'll hold that for you. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. I want to thank Commissioner Spano for this recognition of hard work and dedication as a staff has and continue to work towards this pandemic for it to come to an end, hopefully, eventually. One person who definitely deserves recognition who's not here, unfortunately, is retired Captain Christopher Tomlin, my predecessor. I was his sergeant when the pandemic hit and had to work long and hard hours to establish housing and intake protocols, as well as to work together with all local jurisdictions to try and establish measures to ensure our staff and inmates' safety. Our staff worked together with tech services in order to establish an efficient virtual court system. The staff had to transform themselves into remote court clerks and ensure that all cases were being addressed in a timely fashion. The list really goes on, but the fact of the matter is that the booking staff banded together as a unit the whole time and came to work every day selflessly amongst fear of this new and deadly virus to achieve our common goal. And I want to thank the Commissioner.
At this time, I invite Assistant Warden Macchio to the stage.
Good morning. The members of the department's virtual program unit are being commended for their tireless dedication, distinguished service, and commitment to providing virtual education and other rehabilitation services to the residents during the coronavirus pandemic. Sergeant Maria Reyes Rhodes supervised the virtual program unit supported by correction officers who volunteered to work within this unit. Sergeant Reyes and her unit took on many new roles during the pandemic, one of which was the role of a school tutor. During the pandemic, in-person learning was placed on hold, and Sergeant Reyes and her staff were tasked with handing out self-study school material and also tutored some of the students until BOCES staff were able to start working with their students through the department's televisit system. Sergeant Reyes and her unit also subsidized for the pre-release staff when they started working from home. They were tasked with the delivery and collection of documents from pre-release, legal aid, and the Department of Social Services. Their collective efforts greatly assisted residents who were preparing to return home during the height of their pandemic. Program unit staff were also tasked with periodically distributing Commissioner Spano's COVID-19 update memos and free phone cards to all residents in order to keep them well informed and connected with their families. Additionally, they manage all aspects of DOC's resident educational tablet program and strategically leverage new smart board technology by rolling it from building to building in order to provide virtual programming to all resident housing units. Some of the programs that were moved to virtual were St. John's Riverside Rehabilitation Services, Manhattan and Pace College programs, BOCES schooling, journaling, core, art therapy, theater, the seminar series, yoga, victims assistance, poetry, inmate to entrepreneurs, Brave Hearts, and clergy services, just to mention a few. As such, they are deserving of a special recognition. Under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, the Department of Correction Virtual Unit staff representatives serving in active status during the period of March 7, 2020 to October 7, 2021 are hereby awarded this unit citation, and I would like to invite Sergeant Maria Reyes Rhodes to the podium to accept the award.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations. Thank you. I would like to thank once again our County Executive Latimer for joining us here today and all of our guests on this special day. I'm so proud to receive this award. Our Commissioner Spano mentioned walking into the building and seeing fear, but I have to say I didn't see that from our leader when this was happening. I saw the steadfast, unflappable leader as always, and that gave me a lot of confidence to do what I had to do during these unprecedented times. To our DC Padilla, with the help and support of our Warden Macchio and programs, I thank you for giving us the wings to develop these programs and to implement all the technology. With, again, the support of Commissioner Spano, who was behind us all the way, to get not only rehabilitative and restorative, but therapeutic programming to all of our residents that are here. To DC Diaz, thank you for your tireless work to keep us clean and safe. You were always working as hard as you can to implement anything to keep us safe and our residents safe and to keep this facility clean, always above and beyond. And DC Gerald, your presence and the presence of clergy, Father Paul, I'm so glad you're here today, helps us keep our faith on days that we think that we might not have enough. To my program staff, officers Tejeda and Paterno, you need to stand up for a moment, because without you, we would not have been able to do everything that we have achieved. And to all of our service providers that I see some here from St. John's Riverside, Ms. Julius, our pre-release DSS, thank you. I look forward to continuing to work with you and to improve everything that we can for our residents. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you, Sergeant Reyes. I'd now like to call Deputy Commissioner Michael Gerald to the podium.
The next unit citation award is given to the Spiritual Care Unit. The members of the Department Spiritual Care Unit are hereby commended for their selfless, dutiful, and tireless commitment to ensure that the religious and spiritual needs of our residents were attended to during the pandemic, especially at the beginning of this crisis, when there was a pause placed in effect that prevented the commingling of housing unit residents at our designated chapels. As directed by Commissioner Spano, then Spiritual Care Director Father Paul Tovey and his team were challenged to reimagine their individual ministerial roles and find ways to safely administer religious services to our residents without commingling housing units and without the support of our hundreds of community volunteers. In response, the Spiritual Care Unit, comprised of full and part-time employees, developed a plan to routinely visit every facility housing unit to conduct one-on-one visitations with residents and to provide much-needed support and guidance. Additionally, they availed themselves to every level of the Westchester Department of Correction workforce, providing their personal phone contact information to assist staff members who were also experiencing crisis of faith and or health-related concerns. The Spiritual Care Unit staff presided over one of the darkest periods of DOC's history, as many of our staff's family members would succumb to the coronavirus. Apart from death notifications, condolences, grief counseling, or prayers, they consistently met the needs of our residents by delivering spiritual reading literature to keep them engaged and uplifted. As the pandemic continued into 2021, newly appointed Director Father Jude and his team pivoted and began to repurpose their ministerial duties by offering spiritual services virtually. In this way, the team was able to have scheduled spiritual virtual services with a number of our religious volunteers through WebEx and Zoom on a weekly basis, thus live streaming services to every DOC resident housing unit. This method continues to the present moment and is still supplemented with weekly visits to all facility housing units. As such, they are deserving of special recognition. Under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, the Department of Corrections Spiritual Care Unit staff representatives serving in active status during the period of March 7th, 2020 to October 7th, 2021 are hereby awarded this unit citation. I invite Father Jude and Father Paul to the podium to receive this award.
I don't know how to begin. I want to thank the Commissioner and the DC for the support given to us. Father Paul, you are here. I'm glad that you are here. Thank you very much, because the whole thing was on your shoulders. And we battled it, devised means. The greatest challenge we have, still having, is convincing the inmates. They still find it so difficult to attend these virtual services. And I thank the chaplains, Sister Vicky, Father Morocho, Rabbi Horowitz, Pastor Rick, and Imam Rashid, who is unavoidably present. The greatest challenge we have is going to the blocks to educate the inmates about this. And God's so kind, they are beginning to embrace this, and it's yielding good results. So I want to thank all those who have helped us to achieve what we have achieved. DC Gerard, you have always asked me to come for a meeting every Monday, and he gives his directives, and very, very enriching. It is very, very encouraging to have this type of citation, because when somebody is praised for a work well done, he's encouraged to a greater height. So we thank you very much. Father Paul, I hope you have something to say, because once a director is always a director. I have always consulted him, and he has given his directorial job. Father Paul, God bless you.
This is better than the Academy Awards. You know, I certainly could relate when the county executive was talking about studying at the kitchen table. Of course, I'm older than him. I was figuring it out when I was sitting there. So in the 60s, when, I was in grammar school and then in high school, and being the younger of four brothers, we lived in an apartment in Brooklyn called Railroad Rooms. And so we really didn't have any room to study at, or even a desk. So you studied at the kitchen table, and who was throwing what, and I was the youngest of four boys, so I don't even know how I ever absorbed anything, but it eventually got in there. But that was the test that, in one sense, does get you ready for the messiness of life. And I would say that the pastoral care department, as it's being cited today, deals with that messiness day in and day out, because the human heart, as I tell people, is a dangerous place. And that's what basically chaplains deal with is the human heart, when in the most joyful moments and also in the saddest and hardest moments and darkest moments of life. And I have to say that, of course, I always have to honor Reverend Charles Albert, our first department director here at Westchester County, because he really set the tone and really developed the department to what it is today and how it continues to go. And even Father Jude and Sister Vicky and the abled chaplains that are with them and support them, carry out that vision, because we're here for everybody. I was very moved by, I think her name is Haley. She went on that space flight, the first civilian astronauts. She herself is a survivor of, I believe, childhood cancer, was leukemia, and she strove then to become a physician assistant, and then actually strove literally for the stars. So she raised, I forget how many millions of dollars for the St. Jude's children. And I think of her in a sense of how the pastoral care department over the years, and how all of us here have striven, literally, if that's a word, striven for the stars. Because I think that's under our commissioner, under our county executive, all his deputies, all his staff, and all of you, all of DOC, our wardens, captains, sergeants, COs, all of us are really striving for those stars, and all the civilian staff, as we've seen, as we're honoring everybody today. So reaching for those stars is something that we want to always keep as a goal and strive for, and also help the heart of every person. So I think that's what basically pastoral services deals with, is dealing with the human heart and helping people get through the most difficult times of their lives. So certainly I continue to call the commissioner and bother him, Donna. So even though I left, but I have to say, you had me in tears, because all the times of working with you down in the kitchen, and Steve, how could we forget Steve? And it is a family, all of the wardens and captains, and dealing with them during the years of all the different concerns that we've had and that we had to get through, dealing with my own staff, the chaplains, and all the many situations we had, dealing with medical, going through those days, those earlier days, with the doctors, and sitting at the staff meetings with the commissioner and all of the executive staff and the wardens, trying to figure out what to do. God really kept us in God's hands. So, we may be tested, but we never fail, because we have God's grace. And I have to say that, and I have to thank God for everything, my own health, all of your health, the health of this department, and also thank my staff, the staff that I served with for 22 years and 7 months, but who's counting? And it was because of the county executive that you made me retire, George. They had that incentive, but I would have stayed. Time to get off the egg timer. I would have stayed till this June, but it was a great pleasure, and I'm still here. So members of our department still call me, and I'm still reaching out to people and touching trying to be as much help as I could be. Thank you, and God bless you, and Father too.
We now invite the commissioner back to the podium for the next award.
Always good to see you, Father Paul. The next unit citations will be awarded to the Correction Officer Benevolent Association and the Superior Officer Association. The union representatives from the Westchester County Correction Officers Benevolent Association and the Westchester Superior Officers Associations are hereby commended for their tireless dedication to their memberships and for the commitment and efforts to support a safe work environment at Westchester DOC during the pandemic. In the early stages of the pandemic, there were many unknowns, which in turn created a lot of anxiety and fear amongst all levels of our workforce. That included employees from two of our largest bargaining units, COBA and SOA, who collectively provide union representation for hundreds of correction officers, sergeants, captains, and assistant wardens. Our agency took a very proactive approach to the coronavirus concerns early on and began implementing multiple operational changes to help prevent, detect, and respond to any suspected cases. As part of that process, Commissioner Spano and his leadership team routinely collaborated with COBA President Neil Pallone and then SOA President Bruce Donnelly to inform them of these fast-evolving changes, seek their input, and partner with them to help facilitate clear messaging to the DOC workforce at a time when it was needed most. Neil and Bruce leveraged both technology and their respective board members to help disseminate up-to-date and relevant information to their memberships. The unions also provided critical support and guidance to help members of their bargaining unit cope with personal and family-related COVID-19 illnesses and loss of loved ones. Additionally, Neil, Bruce, and new SOA President Peter DiChiara strongly advocated for member access to COVID-19 vaccinations and again became a strategic partner when DOC began offering targeted vaccines through an initiative developed with our local health department and County Executive Latimer's office. This critically important collaboration facilitated priority vaccine access for our essential workforce, enhancing overall health and safety conditions at our department. When collaboration, support, and unified messaging was critically important, the leadership from COBA and SOA and their respective boards took positive actions that directly impacted their members and DOC operations. They should be commended for their dedication, commitment, and unflagging support for their memberships during the pandemic. As such, they are deserving of special recognition and hereby awarded these union citations. I'd like to invite Neil Pallone, Peter DiChiara, and Bruce Donnelly to the podium, please.
I'd like to say thank you to the commissioner. You know, someone asked me today, did you write a speech? I said, when you write a speech and you go after Commissioner Spano, you have nothing left to say. So I wrote it afterwards. So this has definitely been a collective effort. You know, my whole membership, definitely my executive board, my whole entire board. I want to say thank you to the commissioner and his team for allowing us to sit at the table constantly advocating for our membership and listening. I'd like to say thank you to the county exec and his board. You know, you were there for us big time in the beginning when this was all unknown. You allowed many of our members to stay out with underlying health and other numerous child care issues and stuff like that. We came to you and you listened again and you advocated with us and you stayed behind us. A lot of county legislators and other state assembly and senate members that aren't here, they donated us a lot of PPP in the beginning. We were able to give out masks and hand sanitizers to people.
that's not forgotten by myself and by my members. I'm just receiving this. This is about my membership. They're the heroes here, and for the most part of everything in here. And I don't mean to be a little arrogant with that, but you know, every program, everything that goes on in here, there's a COBA member by giving security and protection. So my members that were in here doing 16-hour days, some voluntarily, a lot of it forced, and they were dealing with death in their families. Like, we give out a bereavement basket for lost members. We gave out 3 times the amount this year, and it's just been a devastating year. On that note, I want to segue back to the commissioner and say thank you for allowing the honor guard to go to a lot of people's families' funerals, and that wasn't done prior to the commissioner being here. You know, it was, hey, he's not active any longer. I make a call to the commissioner. He says, hey, they want the honor guard. We have the honor guard. I want to say thank you to the honor guard that's here, because they're so professional every time we have an event. I mean, again, just the importance of, you mentioned virtual courts. I'll go to events, I run into judges. They rave about the professionalism of this jail and my members that are out there every day doing the courts and being professional and allowing the inmates to have access to court without having to go to court. So that's a big part. And I want to say thank you to the virtual court team and even all the supervisors. That we've adjusted big time in these last 2 years, and I still think I'm so proud to be the president of this union. I think we're we're the best jail in New York, and we're probably up there in the state thanks to our workforce. You know, the commissioner, the workforce, the county exec has our back 1,000%. And I just want to say, I promise that we'll continue to fight for this and continue to move on, because unfortunately it's not over yet, you know, and we'll keep battling. Thank you.
Peter. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Listen, I want to start off by thanking Commissioner Spano's executive team, County Exec George Latimer, his executive team, our friends at the Board of Legislators for keeping us informed during this pandemic, keeping us in the know in an ever fluid situation going on. Also for supplying us with the PPE, which they have literally gone to the ends of the earth in the beginning of this pandemic to get. So thank you for that. I also want to recognize all of my members, the SOL members, who have come to work every day during this pandemic, knowing they are probably not going home, doing 16-hour tours every day, and have put their own personal safety at line as well as their families during this pandemic. They've gone out, they've gone sick, they've come back to work, and it's very important that they're recognized for that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I've forgotten actually how to give a speech, so let me start off by saying thank you, everybody here, Commissioner, County Executive, and staff. And also, I'd like to say hello. It's always a pleasure to see half of your faces. Honestly, it really is noteworthy to echo everything that's been said here. It's been a pleasure working with everybody here throughout the 34 years that I've been here, especially everything that's taken place during the pandemic, everybody getting together, forming this bond that was necessary to get through the problems that we had here, and I don't want to say overcome, but meet the challenge. And I think you did that remarkable, and I applaud you all. Continue the great work. Thank you very much.
I just want to say one more thank you I forgot out was, again, to the county executives team for allowing us to have 2 more classes. You look around jails around the state, they don't allow that, you know, so we've had 1 class that just came in, we have another class that is in the academy now, so I want to thank you for listening to that and bringing that in. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for reminding me of that, Neil. And then going with that are multiple supervisory promotions to keep pace with our vacancy rates. At this time, I'd like to invite First Deputy Commissioner Nuri Padilla back to the podium.
The next unit citation goes to the Technical Service Unit. The members of the department's technical service unit are hereby commended for their tireless dedication, distinguished service, and commitment to providing vital functions and required services to the Department of Operations, staff, and residents during the coronavirus pandemic. Working with IT, Captain Chris Smith, Sergeant Robin Carden, and their civilian technical service representatives transitioned a traditionally paper-based and in-prison correctional civilian support business model to an upgraded system that allow all non-essential administrative staff to seamlessly perform remote working capabilities. In addition, they collaborated with the Office of Court Administration and the U.S. District Court Southern District of New York to establish virtual hearings and local court arraignments, which simultaneously allow defendants the opportunity to participate in their cases, communicate with their defense counsel before their respective judicial proceedings. Their ability to leverage the department's technology to ensure continued access to justice was impressive. Additionally, Captain Smith and his team supported our request to pivot and provide virtual programming to all resident housing units, allowing us to provide vital rehabilitation services. DOC's Technical Service Unit also spearheaded the installation of technology that allow our department to hire and safely support a new academy class of correction officers during the pandemic period. This new technology allowed us to simultaneously facilitate training at different locations without interruption and resulted in a successful 10-week training period. As such, they are deserving of a special recognition. Under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, the Department of Correction Technical Service Unit staff representatives serving in active status during the period of March 7, 2020 to October 7, 2021 are hereby awarded this unit citation. I invite Sergeant Robin Carden to the podium to receive the award, please.
Thank you. County Executive Latimer, Commissioner Spano, Deputy Commissioners, Wardens, Captains, Sergeants, Officers, and our distinguished guests. It is indeed an honor to accept this award on behalf of the Department of Correction Technical Services Unit. COVID-19 has indeed brought challenges to us, but DOC has done what DOC always does, and that rises to the occasion. Technical Service is a small unit, and we are appreciative of being recognized for our hard work during these times. Would all who work in the Technical Services Unit please stand? Commissioner Spano, from your Technical Services Unit, we thank you for thinking of us and acknowledging our hard work. It's nice to be thanked, but it's even nicer to be shown appreciation. Thank you.
I now invite Warden Vollmer to the podium.
First, I want to say, Father Paul, thank you for that wonderful homily. We're just waiting for communion. I know the commissioner was seriously considering bringing out the egg timer for you. We convinced him that you were tired, you learned. Right now, his thoughts are loud and clear. He didn't. So thank you. The next unit citation is awarded to the department's facility maintenance. The members of the department's maintenance unit are hereby commended for their tireless dedication, distinguished service, and commitment to providing vital functions and required services to departmental operations, staff, and residents during the coronavirus pandemic. Specialist Anthony Gerusi, having led the department's maintenance unit for many years, had a transition from utilizing traditional resident work crews to developing a plan that required DOC maintenance unit personnel to take on the additional responsibility of facility-wide sanitation and cleaning. The existing maintenance unit was augmented with additional voluntary correction officers that cleaned critical areas throughout the complex to combat COVID-19 virus, including, but not limited to, resident showers, bathrooms, phone banks, video visitation terminals, and all housing unit common areas. Because of the virus's ability to survive on surface areas, it was critical that Specialist Gerusi's team strategically sanitize the facility on a regular basis to stem the spread while also maintaining general facility maintenance. Their combined efforts have greatly improved facility health and sanitation conditions for both staff and residents and helped our department safely navigate through the pandemic period. As such, they are deserving of special recognition. Under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, the Department of Correction Maintenance Unit staff representatives serving in active status during the period of March 7th, 2020 to October 7th, 2021 are hereby awarded this unit citation. And at this time, I invite Specialist Anthony Gerusi to the stage.
Thank you on behalf of the maintenance crew. I'd just like you guys to stand up. Officer Mike Arnold, Officer Chris Torres, Officer Nick Gerusi, Officer George Cooper, Maintenance Man Chris Torres, Maintenance Man Francis Lyons, and Maintenance Man Joseph Vidala. We're like a family down there. Everybody here we've dealt with. We're going to deal with you more. You all know what we do. We know what we do. Appreciate Commissioner Spano and the rest of the executive staff giving us this citation. We do what we do. And I love you guys.
This time I'd like to invite Deputy Commissioner Gerald back to the podium.
The next unit citation is awarded to the department's training unit. The members of the department's training academy are hereby commended for their tireless dedication, distinguished service, and commitment to providing vital functions and required services to departmental operations and staff during the coronavirus pandemic. Captain Patty Bola and the training academy staff had to create and adapt to new ways of conducting business in rapid succession during this global pandemic. Working together, they managed to navigate through many unique challenges, such as being trained to conduct mask fit testing of hundreds of uniformed members for the N95 mask at the onset of the pandemic, mass distribution to uniformed staff throughout the department, continuing the DCJS mandates of in-service training and recertifications of uniformed staff. Additionally, they successfully facilitated the completion of multiple supervisor academy classes, the hosting of a competency-based instructor certification program for the ASP Tactical Baton. Westchester Department of Correction was the only law enforcement agency provided with this standard of training during 2020, and the hosting and training of 10 department armorers on site at DOC's Training Academy by Smith & Wesson. The Training Academy's reliance on technology to interact effectively became a necessity, a tool utilized for facilitating remote communications, particularly while there was such a fear and apprehension for many. That included the use of virtual meetings to participate in DOJ, SCOC, and other compliance meetings, and the maintenance of in-service training schedules while adhering to all Department of Correction, Department of Health, and Center for Disease Control guidelines. They also successfully completed a 10-week academy class without a single student or instructor reporting the symptoms of COVID-19 due to their academy interactions. The training staff continues to remain resilient in its efforts to ensure the health and safety of all involved by maintaining the best practices to overcome the effects of this pandemic and further our goal of continued education. As such, they are deserving of special recognition. Under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, the Department of Correction Training Academy staff representatives serving in active status during the period of March 7th, 2020 to October 7th, 2021 are hereby awarded this unit citation. I invite Captain Patty Bowler to the podium. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Oops. Good morning, Commissioner Spano. Good morning. And all distinguished persons. I want to say thank you so very much on behalf of the Training Academy. This citation means a lot to us. We continue to do a lot of work in the Training Academy. As you know, we have an academy class that is current. And while sitting here, I was thinking to myself, what are they up to? But thank you. Thank you. This means a lot to us. You're welcome. Thank you, DC John.
The next unit citation award is given to the department's attendance management unit. The members of the department's attendance management unit are hereby commended for their tireless dedication, distinguished service, and commitment to providing vital functions and required services to departmental operations, staff, and residents during the coronavirus pandemic. Captain James Conway, newly appointed to serve as the commanding officer of the attendance management unit, and assigned sergeants took on an unprecedented situation presented by the COVID-19 pandemic. Captain Conway and his team met daily with DOC administration and regularly networked with the Westchester Department of Health and Law Department to ensure compliance with evolving COVID-19 related policies and procedures. Collectively, they were tasked with tracking all COVID-19 related absences and simultaneously provided guidance and care to hundreds of staff members who were unable to report to duty because of the pandemic and because of related illnesses and/or family-related challenges. They patiently navigated staff through the COVID-19 testing process, compassionately guided them through the quarantine protocols, and safely facilitated their return to duty. Additionally, they caringly supported employees who lost loved ones during the pandemic, identifying critical support services to help them navigate through the grieving process. Finally, when vaccines first became available for essential services, attendance management unit staff took on the critical role of managing the vaccination scheduling process for the DOC workforce. Creating and organizing the vaccine scheduling process for a large 24/7 workforce was a huge undertaking for Captain Conway and his team, but they embraced the challenge and did so flawlessly. The support and guidance provided by Captain Conway and his unit sergeants to the Department of Corrections workforce during the pandemic directly impacted the safety of staff, their families, and the population we serve. As such, they are deserving of special recognition. And under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, the Department of Correction Attendance Management Unit staff representatives serving in active status during the period of March 7th, 2020 to October 7th, 2021 are hereby awarded this unit citation. I invite to the podium Captain Conway to receive the award.
I'm not much of a speech person, so I'm going to try my best here. I'd like to thank, on behalf of the Attendance Management Unit, Commissioner Spano for this honor. We couldn't have done the possible. We met with the administration every day on daily briefings during the height of the pandemic. I said it's a challenge. It's still a challenge today, but we seem to be getting through it. The sergeants do most of the work, so Sergeant Hector Lopez and Sergeant Matthews, stand up. Okay, they came into the unit halfway through the pandemic. We had two sergeants that were in there before. Sergeant Gary Haspel retired, and Sergeant John Pica also retired. Sergeant Pica actually put his retirement on hold, 6 months, so he can help out. So they should be recognized also. All right? Thank you.
I now invite back to the podium Deputy Commissioner Diaz.
The next unit citation goes to the Department Supply Unit. The members of the Department Supply Unit are hereby commended for their tireless dedication, distinguished service, and commitment to providing vital functions and required services to departmental operations, staff, and residents during the coronavirus pandemic. Sergeant Hilda Colton supervised one of the department's most critically important units. Supported by assigned correction officer, Sergeant Colton managed daily unit responsibilities to ensure that DOC maintained a surplus of critical supplies, including personal protection equipment and cleaning supplies. During the early stages of the pandemic, when most regional supply chain systems were disrupted, Sergeant Colton's proactive and aggressive ordering practices allowed the department to operate from a strong foundation, which in turn supported our preparedness planning and helped mitigate the spread of the virus. Moreover, Sergeant Colton and her team developed, managed, and carefully tracked the distribution of these critical supplies cross-complex on a daily basis. Over the course of the pandemic, Sergeant Colton and her team continued to leverage strategic partnerships within the supply industry, allowing our department to maintain an uninterrupted flow of critical supplies. In fact, at no time during the pandemic has our agency experienced a shortage of essential supplies, including personal protection equipment, cleaning supplies, or resident linens, uniforms, or toiletries. As such, they are deserving of special recognition. Under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, the Department of Corrections Supply Unit representatives serving in active status during the period of March 7, 2020 to October 7, 2021 are hereby awarded this unit citation. I invite Sergeant Hilda Colton to the podium to receive the award.
Thank you. Commissioner Spano, thank you so much. Thank our guests. Executive team, thank you. I'm honored to receive this award in behalf of my team, two of which are here today. Officer Green and Officer Jones, please stand up. These guys worked tirelessly during this pandemic. When we were short, they went out and handed out supplies. We made sure everybody had what they needed. And it's a team effort, and it takes everybody. So I want to thank everybody here, all of the officers, all of the civilians, everybody, because if everybody didn't work together, this wouldn't be able to happen. And I want to give a special thanks to DC Diaz, because he was always there, making sure I had the resources I needed to get this work done. Thank you.
And now I want to invite Warden Keith Cameron to the podium to announce the next unit citation.
Are we doing so? Okay. The next unit citation is awarded to the Department's Emergency Service Unit.
Under the leadership of retired Captain John Ewell and current unit commander Captain Luis Martinez, the members of the Department's Emergency Service Unit are hereby commended for their tireless dedication, distinguished service, and commitment to providing vital functions and required services to departmental operations, staff, and residents during the coronavirus pandemic. The Department's Emergency Service Unit is comprised of specially trained captains, sergeants, and correctional officers who are committed to the continued safety of the public, staff, and residents who are within the confines of the Westchester County Department of Correction. Those that undertake this assignment do so serving a cause greater than themselves by assuming an elevated risk to their own personal safety with no additional compensation for their efforts. At the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Department's Emergency Services Unit immediately took on additional responsibilities to support department logistics, planning, and emergency management. This included fulfilling positions within the county's Emergency Operations Center and rendering assistance to the citizens of local municipalities throughout Westchester County. The challenges of managing emergency operations during a pandemic were later compounded in 2020 with the addition of civil unrest across the country, some of which directly impacted safe operations of various correctional facilities nationwide. While many correctional facilities around the country experienced related disturbances and at times full loss of control of their facilities, the Westchester Department of Correction has maintained a safe environment for both staff and residents. The Department's Emergency Services Unit, through strategic planning, proactive approaches, and compassionate care, served as a significant contributing factor for maintaining order throughout this unprecedented public health crisis. As such, they are deserving of special recognition. Under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, the Department of Correction Emergency Service Unit representatives serving in active status during the period of March 7, 2020 to October 7, 2021 are hereby awarded a unit citation. At this time, I ask Captain Luis Martinez to join me at the podium.
I, too, wrote a speech. It's already all gone because everyone said everything I was going to say. Thank you, guys. The one thing that I can say, we as a family, as DOC staff, we don't really like to talk about what we do and the level that we do it. County executive did say we went above and beyond what we normally do. I don't necessarily agree with that. We always do what we do. That's just the bottom line. With Sergeant Colton, we took the duties of distributing PPEs, and again, I thank you for all your help. Commissioner Spano, County Exec, and guests. DC Gerald, I want to give you a special thank you for supporting the unit the way you have been. The executive staff, I thank you again. And last but not least, my predecessor, Captain John Ewell, who did half of the work already for me. Wherever he's at, tell him I said thank you. Thank you, everyone.
You okay, Lou? Yeah. Okay. I need you, man. Don't go anywhere, all right? At this time, I'd like to call First Deputy Commissioner Padilla back up to the podium, please. Thank you.
The next unit citation is awarded to St. John's Riverside, our resident behavioral health treatment provider. The Westchester County Department of Correction commends the St. John's Riverside Solutions and Resolve to Stop the Violence supervisors and clinical staff for their auxiliary support during the coronavirus pandemic. With exemplary commitment and cooperative spirit, the St. John's Riverside team effectively and efficiently continue to provide substance abuse treatment, and alternative to violence services under unprecedented conditions to the DOC program residents. Their leadership, intellect, compassion, personal warmth, and deep commitment to the program participants during the extremely challenging times of the pandemic was resoundingly clear, and it allowed DOC to continue to provide substance abuse treatment despite the ongoing pandemic. The St. John's Riverside supervisors demonstrated a high level of initiative and skill by developing alternative work schedules and procedures so that treatment and services were not interrupted. The clinical staff successfully navigated the complexities, opportunities, and challenges of the pandemic, and they prioritized our residents' need for substance abuse treatment by maintaining the layer mitigation strategies implemented to keep our communities safe while they continue to facilitate their programs. As evidenced by their continuation of services, both supervisors and clinical staff were committed to supporting DOC residents throughout the coronavirus pandemic and to support the administrative DOC team in making a successful transition out of the most crucial time period of the pandemic. As such, they are deserving of special recognition. Under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, for their dedication, commitment, and unflagging support to our residents throughout both common and uncommon challenges, the St. John's Riverside Program staff representatives serving in active action during the period of March 7, 2020 to October 7, 2021 are hereby awarded this unit citation. I invite Wilfredo and Kathy to the podium to receive the award.
On behalf of St. John's Riverside Hospital, we want to express our thanks to the Commissioner, DC Padilla, to the essential team members that helped us to provide services through the pandemic. And we truly feel fortunate to be part of such an amazing team and a progressive team. And we look forward to continuing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I now invite Warden Vollmer back to the podium.
Yeah, I'm getting them in. Next unit citation is awarded to the Department of Public Work employees. Westchester County Department of Public Works employees stationed at the Department of Correction are hereby commended for their tireless dedication, distinguished service, and commitment to providing vital functions and services which directly contributing to the quality of life for both staff and residents during the coronavirus pandemic. Tasked with managing multiple on-site shops, including electrical, plumbing, mechanical, HVAC, locksmith, and pest control, assigned DPW employees are required to maintain current DOC building mechanical systems and respond to facility-wide repair requests and emergencies. Their duties include regular service and maintenance of the correction complex air filtration systems, which was critically important during this public health crisis. To their credit, understanding that air quality was a major concern, DPW management took proactive steps to provide higher quality air filtration by facilitating system upgrades during the pandemic. Also, as part of their daily responsibilities, DPW employees facilitated repairs across the correctional complex, including in residence housing units under COVID-19 quarantine protocols. Further, with the support of the Public Works Commissioner Hugh Grecian and under the direction of Construction Coordinator Edward Duffy, all DPW shop employees worked cohesively to support multiple DOC capital infrastructure projects, including the expansion of our visitation weather shelter and modifications to our main entrance lobby to support COVID-19 safety protocols. Their commitment to duty and to the critical needs of the Department of Correction operations during the pandemic enhanced overall building safety for staff, residents, and civilian visitors. As such, they are deserving of special recognition. Under the authority of Commissioner Joseph K. Spano, the Westchester County Department of Public Works staff representatives assigned to the Department of Correction during the period of March 7th, 2020 through October 7th, 2021 are hereby awarded this unit citation. At this time, I invite Edward Duffy to the stage.
I didn't build it. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. This is our Deputy Commissioner Hernani de Almeida. And I want to thank everybody for the recognition, but I'd like to have the DPW foreman staff stand up. They never look better. So these gentlemen, plus a few others that are missing, they're the ones that really need the recognition. They're the ones that fix everything. They orchestrate everything here on the campus. And they're the ones that grab the 1,000 work orders per month from Sergeant Bender and Adrian Allen. Not only do they do that here, but they also repair, maintain everything on the campus, which is about 518 acres, 46 facilities, and approximately 1.8 million square feet of facility. So we're going to keep up the good work and do what we can do to keep helping. And I'd like to say thank you again.
Hi, like you said, I'm Deputy Commissioner de Almeida. Everybody's so well dressed here today. It's amazing. I looked into my closet this morning, I saw a bunch of suits, and I picked the one with the stripes. I thought it was appropriate to come to the DOC wearing stripes. Again, you guys can sit down if you like. I want to thank everybody for the recognition. Commissioner, I'd like to thank you for the recognition. The support from operations managers at the County Executive's Office. Joan McDonald's been great every time we ask her for some help. She's always been able to give it to us, both in personnel, funding, and just overall support. It's no small task taking care of stuff, and I'll make this brief, but just to give you an idea, if any of you have a home or an apartment and you go to Home Depot to fix a little thing, just think about it. That's 1,500 square feet, or 3,000 square feet, whatever the size is. We're taking care of over 1 million square feet of space with the crew that we have just at this facility alone. We have over 200 pieces of HVAC equipment that all has to be maintained, watched, cleaned, belts and grease and everything else, make sure everybody has a safe environment to work in. Our plumbing guys have to take care of potable water systems and sewage systems, electricians, always there to take care of those emergencies when you need those lights. In any case, I'd like to thank everybody for the recognition, especially those here in management and the support, and we'll continue doing our job. Thank you.
And I do have to say that I was in contact with Ed many times. And each time he saw my name come up on the phone, I know he was thinking, what now? But instead, he always answered the phone almost singing, how can I help you? So thank you. At this time, I would like to invite Sister Vicki Mills to the podium for the benediction.
I'm going to ask, would you please stand? Let us all bow our heads to pray. Father God, we come saying thank you for all that we have witnessed today and sparing us during these trying times we are living in. We ask for your continued protection against the sicknesses and the diseases that is in this land. And even as we leave this place, but never from your presence, we ask that your hand of protection will rest, rule, abide with us always. Let us depart in peace, in love, charity with one another. May we be joined together in one common goal of service and pleasing you, our God. I ask that you place a hedge of protection around us as we travel to our different places. May the blessings of the Lord be with us all, and we pray all these things in your mighty name. Amen.
Please remain standing. It's my pleasure to invite Correction Officer Joetta Crump to the podium to sing America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for its spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for its purple mountains' majesties, above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
The honor guard, please retrieve the colors. And that concludes today's ceremony, and I would imagine that most of you found it to be a little bit longer than what was anticipated, but I hope you can appreciate and understand the effort and the energy that went into recognizing every level of our workforce for helping us navigate through a tremendously complicated and difficult period. And as I do with most of these events, I try to find a prayer or a poem or a quote that is befitting. And if you turn to the back of your programs, you'll see what I found for this event. The quote is as follows: "Unity is strength. When there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved." And that's exactly what we've done as an agency with the support of so many partners. And please never forget the following two things. One, it has made a tremendous difference. And two, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you, and God bless you all.